it is time for our weekly Q&A. This week I gave y'all a topic, the alkaline diet. What is the alkaline diet? And last time I checked, there weren't any questions, which I thought was really strange. Let's see what I have. Here's one question, not alkaline related, but that's okay. If you can't find sumac locally, is there a good substitute? So for sumac, you are in the reset. I remember this is in the ingredients. I just left it out, but a good substitute would be some sort of acid. You could use lemon zest or lemon juice or apple cider vinegar. I always say apple cider vinegar because I don't use the other vinegars, but any vinegar would be a good substitute too. I remember it was only a little bit, and I even thought about leaving that out. Anyway, hopefully that helps you. So let me see if there's any other questions before I talk about an alkaline diet. I'm not seeing any. I'm also having trouble navigating through here for some reason today. Let's see. All right. And Stacy said, never heard of it. Okay, so the alkaline diet. All right, so let's get started. And so have you heard, I'm assuming everyone's heard about acid and alkaline. There's acid and alkaline balance. A lot of times we think about this with swimming pools. We have to test the pool every day to see what the pH is. And a lot of times we would think that that was what was burning our eyes, if our eyes were red when we came out of the pool. Well, our blood in our body ranges from 7.35 to 7.45 on the pH chart. And so what does that mean? So the chart goes from 0 to 14, where 0 is very acidic and 14 is very alkaline. I believe that water is a 7. And so our blood is slightly alkaline. So it's only in that 7.35 to 7.45 range. I mean, that's really tiny. From 0 to 14, we're 7.35 to 7.45. And it's very important that our body stays in that range. Our blood stays in that range. We need that for enzyme activity, for communication between the cells, for our nerves to react and contract and do everything, for tissue repair, for our immune balance and things like that. And so it's very important that we maintain this pH. And so our body is set up to maintain that, because a lot of the things that we eat and we do create acid, and we need to balance that out, neutralize that. So breathing in, taking in a lot of oxygen, that helps us to create bicarbonate. And our lungs take it in, it goes to our kidneys and our adrenals release the bicarbonate into the system to help balance our system. But sometimes we get a little too acidic. So in the natural processes, just breathing creates a little bit of acid, digesting and metabolizing our foods creates acid, exercising, running, even if you're not exercising, stress, all of these things create acid in our body. And so you can hear me, it's a natural process, but then we take in acids through some foods. We have foods that are alkaline and acidic, and then different things like stress can also create an acidic environment. So if we have too many acidic forming things coming into our body, then we're going to need to keep balancing that out. And sometimes if our kidneys aren't in good health or our lungs aren't in good health, we're not creating enough bicarbonate, we have to get materials to neutralize that acid. So if you think of a swimming pool, I don't know if any of you have had a pool, a lot of times we'll throw soda into the pool if the pool is too acidic. And so the way our body uses soda is it pulls minerals. It uses the minerals that are from our food, but it pulls minerals from our bones if we are too acidic. So a lot of times we think about calcium in our bones. People worry about drinking milk to get calcium, getting calcium, taking calcium supplements. They hear about the bone issues and things like that. But our body first takes sodium and potassium out of our bones to neutralize acids. So you think about that. If you are really sick, you go to the hospital, you go to the emergency room, they hook you up to an IV, and that IV contains electrolytes, sodium, and potassium, because it's that important to maintain that pH level in your body, in your blood, for all of your cells to keep everything in balance. If you get too acidic, you create acidosis. And acidosis is rapid aging, degeneration. It can lead to cancer, autoimmune illnesses, and things like that. So if you already have cancer, an autoimmune illness, another chronic condition, then there's a good chance that you already have an acidic environment in your body. We need to work on alkalinizing your body. So when you have too much acid, your body starts taking minerals out of your bones. We have to replace all of those minerals. Those minerals are needed not only for the strength of our bones, but for muscle contractions and things like that. Like most of the calcium in our blood helps with contractions. So we think of contractions maybe in childbirth, but working out, I'm moving my arm, and so I'm contracting my muscles. But my biggest one is my heart. My heart needs calcium and minerals to contract. And so I need to make sure that I'm maintaining the right electrolytes and minerals for my heart health, but also to balance out my pH balance, but then also to keep my bones nice and strong. So we think of bones as being like strong like a rock, but they're not. They should be kind of soft and pliable. They are constantly rebuilding and breaking down and rebuilding and breaking down as a part of this balancing out the pH. But we need to keep it balanced because we want to maintain our bone structure. And one thing we know we can do is weight-bearing exercises and things like that to help maintain our bones. But we also need lots of minerals. We can't use our calcium without the right vitamin D and magnesium. We have to have all of these minerals. And once again, the first thing removed is sodium and potassium. So by the time we start using calcium and magnesium, which we all know you have, well, maybe you don't know, but if you have cramps, muscle cramps and things like that, people will say, take some magnesium. That helps with the cramps. Usually you're deficient in magnesium because of an acidic environment. We're using the calcium and the magnesium from your foods. Let me see if I have any questions before I keep chatting. Nope. And so we want to make sure that we have all of these minerals because once again, a high acidic environment will lead to cancer, autoimmune disease, degeneration, rapid aging, fatigue, chronic fatigue, fluid retention or edema, because your kidneys are constantly trying to release those electrolytes, bicarbonate to help. We're putting a lot of strain on those kidneys, and that can lead to edema. And then high free radicals, which we also know can lead to chronic illnesses and breaking down our DNA structures and things like that. So how do we become too acidic? Well, I mentioned stress. A lot of us are under a lot of stress a lot of time. It can be stress from traffic, stress from work, stress from a full calendar, stress from selling a house. There's those main stressors: marriage, divorce, death in the family, birth, all of those different things. But then we add on our daily stresses too. And then there's also acidic foods, which we'll talk about in a minute. Exercise that puts stress on your body. Too much protein. We focus a lot on protein, but having too much protein can create an acidic environment. Sodas, drinking, Cokes and Sprites and Pepsis and all those things, that creates a lot of acid. As a matter of fact, one 12-ounce soda needs to be diluted by almost 35 quarts of water to maintain that pH. And so one 12-ounce soda needs to be diluted by 35 quarts of water. That's how much acid you're putting in your body when you drink a soda. Don't drink sodas. Sulfites. A lot of dried fruits have sulfites. You read the ingredients, it'll say sulfites. Too much fat in the diet and a heightened immune response. If you catch every cold and illness, then you're creating a lot of acid. Table salt is high, which doesn't make sense, sodium and potassium, but table salt is processed with other things. It's much better to have a sea salt, a Himalayan pink salt, black salt, those are more natural. Added sugars create acid. Processed foods, like I said, too much protein, too much fat, soft drinks, meats, dairy, and eggs. Animal products create more acid than plant proteins. So you want to watch how much meat, dairy, and eggs. Beans and grains. If you have too many beans and grains, they can actually create acid. And fruit juices. If you have a lot of fruit juice, that's a lot of sugar that puts a load on the body. So does that mean you shouldn't eat any of these things? No, we're going to eat. We need the different foods. We need protein in our diet. We don't have to have meat to get our protein needs met. We can eat plants to get all of our protein needs met, but we do need to eat some beans and grains occasionally to make sure we're getting all of those amino acids. Now, some people are fruitarians, and some people only eat fruits and vegetables. If you do that, you want to make sure you eat lots of seeds. Some nuts are acidic. Most of your seeds are fine. Your oils are acidic. So in the US, only 15% of adults and 7% of children meet their fruit and vegetable requirements of 5 a day. Remember, I recommend 10. We did a 12-a-day challenge. So let me repeat that. 15% of adults and 7% of children meet the 5 a day. So that's really sad. And so that means the majority of the people are not eating enough fruits and vegetables, which leads to an acidic environment. And many of them eat high protein meals, like meat 3 times a day. And if you have bacon for breakfast, meat on a sandwich for lunch, and then meat at dinner, you're eating meat 3 times a day. That's going to be too much acid. Throw on a piece of cheese or a glass of chocolate milk or some dairy yogurt, you're really adding on a lot of acid there. If you're drinking the soda, remember that has to be diluted. In a high fat diet, too much fat in our diet, that creates acid. And then add daily stressors, and we are set up for harmful conditions here. So to neutralize this acid, our body releases the bicarbonate to help. And then we also start drawing some minerals from the bones. So just 1/10 of a drop in pH in your blood causes your bone to release minerals, just 1/10. And so I can't imagine what that one soda does. So that lets us know just how important it is to maintain the pH of the blood. So first thing, I said the potassium and the sodium are released, and then the magnesium, and then the calcium. So if you're deficient in magnesium or calcium, then you know that there's a good chance that you already have some bone loss. You need to start working on some ways to increase your bone strength and rebuilding of those bones. We have to make sure we have a healthy thyroid and a healthy parathyroid. Parathyroids, you have several of them, to make sure you're maintaining your calcium balance to maintain strong bones too. So how do we become more alkaline? So to become more alkaline, we need high greens, leafy greens, leafy greens, leafy greens. So I've mentioned this before, just like your fall leaves, they're all changing colors right now. They all started out green. So those red leaves that are out there right now, or those yellow leaves right now, they were green. Those colors are underneath the green. And so all your greens are going to contain those bioflavonoids, all those colors. So that's very important. Green drinks, green smoothies, green salads, sauteed greens, just any way you can get your greens in. High fruit and vegetable diet. The more fruits and vegetables, the better, which is why I had that 12-a-day challenge. Now, not all fruits and vegetables are alkaline. Tomatoes, carrots, and plums, that's all I can think of right now, they are acidic. And so I'm not saying don't eat them, but you want to maybe not eat as much of them, or make sure you balance them out with some more alkaline rich fruits and vegetables. Lots of seeds, flax, chia, hemp, pumpkin seeds, those are all very alkaline, and they also provide some essential fatty acids, which help with inflammation. Sea vegetables, nori rolls, seaweed snacks. I like the dulse flakes that I shake on my salad. I've shown y'all some pictures of those. If you're cooking beans or broth, adding a piece of kombu or a strip of kelp will add some minerals into your foods. So those are just great ways to get more of these absorbable minerals. Limit your protein to 0.8 grams per body weight. That is a lot less than what most people think. Most people, like If I weigh 120 pounds, then a lot of people think they need to eat a gram per pound. So they would eat 120 grams of protein, which you don't need that much protein. If you eat protein in plants, you can eat more because the plants don't create the acid like the meats. The breaking of those protein bonds in meat, especially cooked meats, they coagulate, they bond together. That breaking down creates more acid than the protein in plants. So you can eat more protein per gram if you're getting that protein from plants. So watch that. And limit your fats to only 20% of your diet. Look at things like stress management, resting after exercise. So exercise creates an acidic environment. Working out creates lactic acid. We have to neutralize that acid. It's important to rest. And so making sure you're getting the minerals, resting after exercise, counterbalance that. If you have a chronic stress, I was gonna say chronic event, but that wasn't what I meant. You have a stressful event, something suddenly, causes some sort of alert, bring your body down, focus on some deep breathing. Resting before your meals, eating your meals in a relaxed state. So breathing in and breathing out, just to calm your body down before you eat so that you actually absorb those minerals. And meditation can actually put your body in an alkaline state too. So we have to make sure that we're eating the alkaline rich foods. We're doing the meditation, the relaxing to undo these stressful events. But we also need to focus on digestion and absorption. So if I have a leaky gut, I can keep eating more and more green drinks. If I'm not focusing on healing that leaky gut, I might not be absorbing those minerals. And so finding ways to absorb. And so before I even conclude, I didn't say this in the beginning, this is all for education. I do not diagnose, I do not treat, I do not prescribe. This is strictly for educational purposes. And so I hope that you learned something today about the pH of your blood and how to maintain your pH balance. This week's article will have something about that as well. So let me look and see again. I did hear a little ding just to hear. Oops, I clicked on the wrong thing. And that wasn't us. Let's see. No, it's not a question for this group. So that is all for today. If you have any questions about an alkaline diet, please post and I will get back to you. If you have questions for next week, if you have a topic you want me to talk about next week, then I would love to hear it. Have a wonderful week.